So we had snow on the beach in Florida, and here in Panama City Beach, it's the first time since 1989 that we've seen a snowflake. With the polar vortex unleashing on the south, roads and schools were closed. It left me feeling a bit nostalgic of growing up in Buffalo, New York, and having those snow days. Perhaps a good omen for those Buffalo Bills going to the AFC Championship this weekend, who have also not seen a Super Bowl in 30 years. You may be asking yourself, if you're visiting Florida this winter, is this normal? No, it definitely is not. This is Eric Layton with Emerald Coast Abode. Today, I'm out in the beautiful Carillon Beach Resort. I'm standing at one of the units that we manage at the Carillon Beach Inn. And as you can see, it is a beautiful and sunny day, a little colder than normal, but still a beautiful day nonetheless. You can kind of hear the pitter patter of water droplets as the snow is melting off the roof of the complex that I'm standing in. But yeah, it was an interesting week. We definitely had some snow, some unprecedented weather. For our winter guests here, we definitely apologize. This is not normal. And I've been getting a lot of calls from people that are first time visiting the Florida Panhandle in the winter time. Is this normal to see snow? Is it normal to have this frigid, freezing temperature? And the short answer to that question is absolutely not. If you've watched the news, you've seen that we've had a polar vortex over most of the South. It's pretty crippling. You see my Buffalo Bills shirt. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. The problem with the South, unlike Buffalo, New York, when it comes to snowy weather, we're not used to it. We don't have the infrastructure plows, the salting of the roads, where up north is adequately equipped for that. What we saw this past week, and it left schools closed for this entire week. I live in Santa Rosa Beach, which is just the town west of Panama City Beach, and the schools were closed Monday through Friday. I have a 6th grader, a 12-year-old son, and he was off of school the entire week, so a mega snow day for him. So he had a lot of fun with that, hanging out at home. And we did get out into the snow and explore, and it was an insane experience. He has seen snow before, obviously visiting family up north in Buffalo, but it was definitely a treat to see it here in our hometown for a little bit. Although it did leave us inside our house, we didn't, kind of shut us down for a little bit, but it was a nice break from the normal day to day. Now, the fortunate part of it, we did get, obviously some snow. It was cold enough, it was below freezing, and it did get into the 20s during the night. But in terms of consequences or adverse issues that we've seen with properties, we manage about 30 properties here, short-term rental, vacation rental, Airbnb, if you will. I know it's a lot to some people know it as different things. But with our properties, we have a few houses that we manage. We had to make sure that the irrigation pumps were drained. And then in most of our properties, we wanted to make sure that the heat was turned to 68 so we didn't have any adverse plumbing issues or some pipes bursting and things like that. We have a lot of winter guests in our unit, so it wasn't that big of a deal in terms of having the units vacant. And there was only a handful that we needed to go to make sure that the heat was turned on inside the units. With that being said, it was maybe 20 degrees for a couple of hours at night, and that would warm up maybe like just slightly at freezing or below, above freezing for the following day. So not a huge risk for us in terms of damage to property or anything like that. So we had a few winter guests asking us what is normal. What is the normal temperature for the winter this time in Florida? And we are in the northern part of Florida, in the Florida Panhandle. So for January and the winter time frame in Florida, the lows can be between 40 and 50 normally, and the highs are between 60 and 68. The winter, I love the winter here. It's a great time to walk the beach. It's less populated. The restaurants aren't crowded. I typically love the winter time here in the Florida Panhandle. I would say that the Florida Panhandle is much less traveled than the southern part of the state, Miami, Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale. A lot of snowbirds like that part of the state because it's much warmer there during the winter time frame. In fact, the lows are between 60 to 65 in South Florida, and the highs are 75 and 80 between those two temperatures. So you can see it's almost like summertime when the weather's nice there. I looked at Miami currently today, and it was like in the 50s, so not too warm. They were affected by this polar vortex too, but we see much more traffic in the winter time frame in South Florida than here in the Florida Panhandle. It is much more sparse. There are snowbirds that come and visit that may not want the hustle and bustle of Miami. It's definitely just it's a resort town. The world is your oyster if you come here in the winter. You have a lot to choose from, a lot of space to operate in. I prefer it. So when does the weather start getting good here in Panama City Beach? It's pretty obvious. We have a robust spring break, and we definitely did in the early 90s here in PCB. The weather does start getting warmer in March. In the summertime, it gets quite balmy. This is like a subtropical environment. Our lows are usually around the mid 70s and our highs 87, though it can feel a lot warmer because of the humidity. In March, we start to take short-term rental guests. I would say that the temperature is a little more moderate. You're seeing temperatures in the mid to high 70s during the middle of the day on a sunny day. Although the water temperatures are pretty cool during March, like you could see water temps in the low 60s, but that's not stopping northern spring breakers from enjoying our beautiful beaches. They still come down, they're in the water, they're definitely enjoying it. But in the summertime, the beach water out here on the Gulf of Mexico is like bath water. The average temperature during the summer of the water is 80 degrees. This is Eric Layton with Emerald Coast Abode, your favorite real estate agent on the Florida Panhandle, servicing destined to the eastern end of Panama City Beach. I specialize in this resort market, condos, beach houses, and if you're interested in subsidizing your property ownership here on the Emerald Coast with short-term rental business, I'm also a little bit more than a part-time gopher at What's Up Beach Vacation Rentals. We manage about 30 vacation rental properties, short-term rentals, Airbnbs, whatever you want to call it, here in the beautiful Florida Panhandle. If you want to reach out and just get the discussion going, get the ball rolling. I know that typically owning a second home or a vacation home is something that takes a little bit of planning, and sometimes you just need a cheerleader in your corner, and that's typically me. I'm here to help. So if you have any questions, just want to shoot some ideas off the cuff to me, my contact information is in the description below, and I'm not hard to find online. My last name's a little tricky, but you type in my name in Google, you'll find how to contact me. Shoot me an email, we'll set up a time to chat. I hope this helped answer some questions on this wacky weather here in Florida and what is normal, and have a blessed day. This is Eric Layton, over and out. Go Bills.